Hello, welcome back. We are going through this book, Move Over Extroverts. And today we're on chapter 15, which is using your recharging and draining lists strategically. So if you're just catching up now and don't know what we're talking about, you can go back to previous videos, previous chapters where we actually sit down and make those lists of things, activities, people that drain your energy, that use it, and then the list of things, activities, and people that actually recharge your energy, give you more. So we have those lists already, presumably. If you don't, hit pause and you're watching this, hit pause, go back, make your lists, and then come back. And yeah, let's get into it. We have a small group today, which is really fun sometimes because we get to go deeper in the conversation. Um, so this is a very short chapter. And it's really about using those lists strategically and purposefully and not just falling into your calendar. We're in the time management portion of the book. So we're talking about how to take that energy management and ground it in the calendar, ground it in that time management. So, Terry, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so I really hadn't given that any thought before. Typically, like, you put all your stuff on your calendar and you just go from one thing to the next to the next to the next. But I like the idea of actually giving that intentional thought of like, okay, now I'm going into this chunk of, time. Let me, take a quick walk or schedule a quick coffee with a friend or, whatever it is that's going to give me the energy I need in order to be my best self for that next chunk of time. And I really liked the story ahead of that from like that person that was, calling their mom or calling whoever like ahead and like that was bringing their energy down. So like really being aware of like who and what, is doing that to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I've learned now not to answer the phone if I'm not prepared to answer the phone. Like, and that took a long time. Like, why? Why am I answering the phone if I'm not at a point to have a conversation with somebody? Like, because I would do that and then I'm not in the best headspace for it. So now it's not good for the person on the phone or myself. So now I let that call go to voicemail or whatever. So it's the same thing with your time in this. Like, so, being actually thoughtful about that is it's something I hadn't given much thought to before.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the overall themes of the book and of my work with introverts. It's not anything that is completely groundbreaking or some, huge shift. However, some of these small shifts, like being
Hmm.
intentional and giving thought to the placement of the things on the calendar, those can end up having a massive difference.
Yeah. For sure. And especially like even in like the time of day, like just be like how so many agents do lead gen in the morning. Well, if you're not a morning person or you're not necessarily your best self in the morning, well, who's to say that you have to do it in the morning? Like
Right.
maybe 3 to 5 is your better time of day. There's no absolute rule that says it has to be 9 to 11.
Totally. And it also depends what it is, too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
If you're not a calling person, then maybe that's not your best thing and doesn't have to be at that time. Yeah.
I think we as an industry need to undo some of the conditioning that lead gen
Hmm.
has to be in the
Yes.
morning because it just
Yes. And it doesn't have to be
doesn't.
calls.
No. In
Hmm.
fact, a lot of people don't want to be called. They would prefer a text or a DM
Hmm. Yeah. Or
or
even
like
a good old fashioned note.
or a note. Exactly. Yes,
It's such a
handwritten note.
surprise when like, because I do send out the note cards and stuff, and people are always so surprised when they get an actual note in the mail.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, and it's so easy to do that. It takes
Hmm.
time, but it's so easy. And it has such a big impact. I love a
Yep.
handwritten note.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, because all we get in the mail now is bills and junk.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's rare to get something that you actually want to open.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
My Legion tonight will be in the evening because I'm going to a Chamber of Commerce networking event. So I know that I need to reserve a certain amount of energy, and
Mhm.
I don't have anything booked beforehand except for my group coaching call, which is from 4 to 5. So I have that, and then I'm going to drive to the event and take it from there. But in the afternoon, between now and then, I'm not going to do a ton of really strenuous things
Yeah.
because I don't want to bleed my energy dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is just like being more thoughtful about it.
Mhm.
And so, everyone watching, my advice would be look ahead at your calendar, look at the rest of the week, next week, then the following week, and really pay attention to where are you going to need to be your best self? Like, where do you need that highest energy? Maybe it's an appointment or a networking event or something. Maybe you're speaking or whatever you're doing. Like, where are those important things? And where can you add in something to replenish your energy beforehand? Or just make sure that it's not going to be totally drained. Like you're probably fine if it's first thing in the morning, assuming you sleep well.
Mhm.
But so that's my advice. Go through and like really be intentional and thoughtful around, okay, what do I need to do to protect how I'm feeling in this moment and how I show up? Yeah, pretty interesting. The things that we don't think about.
Mhm. Well, because we're just conditioned to like schedule, 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 and not be thoughtful about it.
Yeah. It's amazing how much easier it gets to control the schedule once we start controlling the schedule. You know, like moving things around. Most people are so flexible and so gracious if you have to move something on them.
Mhm.
I try not to do that, but sometimes things come up and you have to, and or it just makes sense. If you book too many things in one day, maybe something has to get bumped. And it's so don't be afraid to like reschedule things that are already there. What other thoughts or questions around this concept?
Nothing that I can think of offhand.
It's a pretty straightforward concept. It's more just putting it into practice and
Hmm.
starting that habit of being intentional and looking ahead at the calendar versus being more reactive.
Hmm.
Awesome. Cool. I do want to mention one thing, and I'm going to put the link in the chat. I have another in-person event that I'm doing in October. So I know some of you might be watching this after this event. That's okay. Hop on my website and it's moveoverextroverts.com. See when the next one is. I plan to do these quarterly. So
Okay.
it's a mastermind in the morning, and then we have lunch, and then it's a mini retreat in the afternoon. So it's an hour where you're encouraged to have your phone off
Oh,
and
nice.
journal or take a walk or just like process what you learned in the mastermind. Feel like so many times we go to classes and trainings and have all these great ideas and then just jump into the next thing and don't have
Mhm.
time to process.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to come hang out with me in Boston, this one's on a Friday, so it would make a good long weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right. Ina, anything that you want to add? We can wrap it up early since it's such a small group today. You're all good. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Terry. Good to see you
Yes,
both.
thank you. Good to see you.
See you next week.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
nice weekend.
You
Take
too.
care.
Bye.